and welcome back to episode number 3 of Real and Awkward. Yeah. So today's topic is going to be about zodiac signs and the zodiac. 2, 1.
Hi, everyone. So, yes, as Cassandra mentioned, today we're going to talk about the Zodiac. And with us, we have our first guest speaker, Elena. Elena, welcome.
Hello, my name is Elena. I'm glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Elena. I am 23 years old, and I am a great big fan and believer in the Zodiacs. Yeah.
So, Elena, what just right off the bat, then, just to take it off, what got you passionate about the Zodiac?
I think what started with my passion in the Zodiac, well, to start with, the whole world of spirituality was always around my family.
Yeah.
And so I grew up with that. But I think what got me more into it was Walter Mercado.
Yes, of course.
Because he's a big icon in our lives. And just seeing him talk about the whole spirituality of zodiac signs and your date of birth is correlated to something really caught my attention. And also just like the whole idea that technically thinking about it, we are stardust.
Yeah.
We came from, if you're paying attention to like the whole bang, we came from stars, we came from those stuff. And if you think about it, how is there no way that we're connected to all the like the planets, the world, the universe? Like, no, we have to be. So that sparked more of my interest, and yeah, and that's when I became obsessed.
And it's so, as you were saying, Walter Mercado, I think all of us grew up with Walter Mercado, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even it, like, funny story, but when it was Walter Mercado's turn to come out in the news, all of us had to be quiet because we were waiting for our zodiac sign to come out. And God forbid if we spoke before someone said, because we were so focused on that. I remember my mom saying, shh, stay quiet, because I been in my sign, you know? So it is something that we grew up with. He became this figure in the everyday life of the Latino household, I think. So I think it's amazing the impact he had. And even now after, right? Now that even that his passing, he plays this big character figure in anything that has to do with the zodiac sign, right?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, like even growing up, I remember my mom being like, "Shh, cállate,"
Yeah.
which I didn't really pay attention to because she's a Pisces and usually she's the last one.
Yeah.
So when it started, I was like, I don't know who you're trying to listen to. Like, you're the last one.
She's probably like, this is your brother.
This is your
tia.
this is your dad. Shh, I need to know. And I'm like, okay, well, but yeah, no, he was very, and just like also like when I put on my rings, my mom's also like, okay, Walter,
Yeah.
relájate.
No, I was gonna say,
like,
and for those of us for those of you that don't know who Walter Mercado was in Spanish television, right? Was a big icon, really, character that talk about the zodiac sign. And Walter Mercado had his own thing going. I mean, I encourage all of you to do your research, look up videos of Walter Mercado when he would do the astrology and like the zodiac sign, because I mean, beyond wow, just the costumes he would wear, you know, the jewelry that he would wear, that in itself was just a unique, that was him, you know, that's what defined who he was, of how the passion he had for it too. So definitely a big icon.
Alrighty, so Helena. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So Elena, can you describe all the zodiac signs, like, to what you think best fits their sign?
Sure. Okay, so I'll start off with Aquarius. Aquariuses are motherly, but to not the good motherly extent. They're on the bad side of motherly. And they tend to be, I think, ruling. They want to be able to control what they're doing and also what other people are doing. So I would say Aquarius are controlling.
That sounds like my mom a little bit.
Interesting.
Aries are very full of themselves. They believe highly in themselves. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It's good to be confident. So I would say Aries are confidence. Cancers, we always get the idea that we are crybabies. I'm a Cancer myself. Am I a crybaby? Yes, but you don't need to know. Capricorns, are, I think, very family dedicated, but they just get looked at so like they're believed to be like hardcore, but it's not real. Like they're very. I literally, you want to know what Capricorn is? Do you want to know what Capricorn is?
What?
My dad's a Capricorn. Or should I say was?
What happened?
I don't know. I literally just said my dad's a Capricorn.
It just turned off?
And it turned off.
But the phone was still recording?
Yeah, it's still recording. It's just the light turned off, but it's still recording.
Thanks, Father. Anyways.
We're keeping that in.
Okay, so my dad's a Capricorn. If you didn't know, my dad was a Capricorn. He died like 3 years ago. But anyways, moving on. Gemini. That's it. Libra. Stop being such people pleasers. You need to think about yourself first for once. But you're a great gift giver. I just want you to know that. Sagittarius.
That's me.
How do I say this nicely?
How do you say it?
Nicely.
You are very oriented, but sometimes you gotta go with what happens. Don't try to organize it all for the rest of your life.
When you say oriented, like how?
Like you have a goal and you want to stick to it. Don't do that. It's not always gonna be like that. Sometimes you gotta go off and do side quests. The main goal is not always the main goal. Enjoy the journey to the goal, not just the goal itself. Scorpios. Scorpios are often seen as mean, but I actually don't agree with that. I think Scorpios are very soft-hearted. It's just they have such a hard shell from the outside that people tend to think they're mean.
Sure.
Excuse me, I am not mean at all.
I didn't. I'm not talking about you, but yes.
Right. Oh.
I also understood that. Tauros, like being an earth sign, they're very down to earth, but that's a little bit too much. Like you need to also be honest with specific things. And I know a couple of Tauros, you know what you did. Anyways, Pisces men, I'm going to separate this one because it's very two ways. Pisces men are very give, but it can be hurtful if you don't have the money to give. And Pisces women are also give, but don't give, thinking that you're going to receive. Leos are golden-hearted, but too golden-hearted that they tend to forget other people with them. And Virgos, don't organize everything in your whole entire life. It's not always going to go the way you want. Stop trying to organize it. Just go with it. Yeah, that's each sign.
Nice.
Wow. That was definitely a different read.
That was my personal view on you guys.
Yeah. I like it.
I like it too. I mean, it's very different than what normally people would. So let me ask you, Lena, you've been doing this for a while now. What is, you would say, is one of the, why do people turn to the Zodiac so much? Like, why is it becoming, and I think more and more now in our generation, it's becoming a bigger thing. Why do you think that is?
I think because the whole idea of spirituality, wanting to know what your reason for being here is, I think that has a big thing to do with, us. I'm going to include you too.
Yeah, of course.
But like us, our generation tends to not know what to do anymore because we feel like we don't have anything we can do. I mean, the world feels like it's falling apart in every angle. So we tend to look for something that gives us a sense of peace. And knowing that you have a reason for being there and you're written in the stars practically is comforting. Yeah. So I think that's why many of our generation tend to turn to that. And the growth, I like we were saying when we were little, we grew up with it. We watched it. In a sense, it comforted us when we were little. So now that we're older and we need that comfort, we tend to turn to it. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons that we tend to turn to that. And also, like I said, we're stardust. We want to go home, and that's in one way our home.
Yeah. What do you say to the skeptics, the people that don't necessarily believe in it or say that it's all a product of our imagination or it's a scam or these readings and the Zodiac is not true?
Mm-hmm. I say, who asked you? Who asked you? I I don't. I'm just gonna sound mean, but I don't care if they care or not. Don't care. As long as they respect that I care,
Right.
I think should be the biggest thing. If you don't care and I'm talking to you about it, at least pretend to listen. It can go through one ear and out the other, but just like listen. Um, and also, I don't see why they should act like they don't care, because when you're talking to someone, like when I talk to Cassandra all the time about zodiac signs, I'm talking to you, but in a way I'm like thinking every time I see Scorpio, I'm like, oh, Cassandra.
Yeah.
And I'll be like thinking about her. Like it's just Sagittarius, you and my brother. I'm always like, okay, you guys are there. Great. And I'll read it and I'll be like, I see it. Like I think it shows also tend of you care about these people. Like, so why are you being mean towards it? Like it's their own little way of that they show that they care about you. So when you receive that text of, hey, your zodiac sign said this, don't be like, oh, that's dumb. Just be like, oh, at least they thought of me.
Yeah. And it's like you said, right? I think it's part of our identity too, right? I think those of us, like I speak for myself, I'm a big believer in it. And it's like everything else, right? It's the faith you put into it. And I think I don't exactly take it word by word, but I think when you read it and it is something that is going on in your life at that moment or similar to something that you're experiencing, you're like, you know what? Yeah, this feels a lot like it's something that is happening now. Again, it doesn't mean that, oh, my horoscope said that I'm going to meet the love of my life today. No, absolutely not, right? But it does put a lot of things in perspective, I think. And again, it's the faith you put into it. That's the power that you give it ultimately, right? At the end of the day. I think in our experiences, I think we've had our fair shares, and I think it's a fun way to do it. But a lot of us do look at that, right? When we're with friends or we make new friends or new partners, right? It's like, what's your zodiac sign?
Or not even what's your zodiac sign, just like when's your birthday? Because like people already know, like when they ask like what's your zodiac sign, it's like, oh, if I say I'm this, like
oh
this
yeah,
person
forget
will be
it.
like, oh,
Done
like
deal.
it's not gonna work out. So usually what I do when I'm like getting to know somebody, I'm just like, hey, when's your birthday?
Yeah.
Like,
let me see if we're compatible.
I don't even ask them. I don't even ask them like what's your sign. I'm just like, what's your birthday? And then I like look it up myself and stuff, and I'm like, okay, like I'm like, oh, maybe this might work, maybe this might not work. But I mean,
I do have to ask, since we're in the topic, what's the one sign of the zodiac? And I'll start with you, Elena, that you have been the most compatible, and the one that you haven't been the most compatible with.
Okay, so the one that I've been most compatible, I would say it's a tie between two. And it's a tie between these two, I think, because we're water signs. So it'd be Scorpio and Pisces. Scorpios I started to become more compatible to them, I think, during my high school college thing, because I started actually stepping out of my comfort zone and meeting people, and then I would make connections. I'd be like, oh, like you said, when's your birthday? What's your zodiac sign? And then it showed that they were like Scorpios, and I was like, oh, what the heck? And then that's when I started researching it more into it, and then I was like, we're actually supposed to be like, we're opposites, we're complete opposites, but we get along.
Yeah.
So I would say Scorpios, and then Pisces, water sign. Come on, like, just to throw this out there, Pisces men are supposed to be the love of my life, but
there it is.
But yeah, it's just them too. Like, we understand each other. We're both water, so that one. But the one I don't get along with would probably have to be. I want to say Gemini, but I know it's not Gemini because I have a lot of Gemini friends. I think Leos.
Oh wow.
Because they're so confident and within themselves that, and like I said, they think a lot about themselves, that as a Cancer, I tend to be like, what the heck, like I'm also there.
Like opposites.
Yeah, and I'm like, think about others as well. Like, I'm not saying I'm not self-centered. I can be self-centered, but I think more about other people than myself sometimes. And they do the opposite. So then I'm just like, okay, now we're opposites in that form too, but we're not opposites like us.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's Leos, and just Leos that I don't mix well. Though my best friend from college is a Leo. It's okay.
So that's the one exception.
That's the one exception. That's the one exception. But I think it's because we've known each other for so long. We're already like, we're stuck together. So
yeah. How about you, Cassandra?
If I'm being quite honest with you, from the top of my head, I feel like I'm surrounded a lot with like cancers, um, know a couple Pisces, Aquarius.
Mm.
I have a lot of Aquarius in my family. I mean, I get along with them. I think it just is different because like my grandma's an Aquarius and like I get along with her. My cousins are
Yeah.
Aquarius and I get along with them. Yeah, my mom is an Aquarius, but you know, like it's my mom, so I feel like that's why we clash sometimes. I feel like especially when I was younger, like a teenager, we would clash a lot, like to the point where like her and I like we would argue and we would go like days without talking just
Wow.
because we're both stubborn. I feel like my mom's really stubborn, but I can be stubborn too. So yeah, uh, I have a Sagittarius brother, which um, I think we get along. Now we do, But I think when we're growing up, but I think it had to do with the age difference too.
Yeah.
We're 6 years apart, so yeah, it was hard growing up, like me being a teenager and then him being like like a younger kid. It was hard, but I mean like now I feel like we're like the best of friends. So yeah. My brother's right over here, by the way.
Yes, he is in the room with us. So
He giggled.
Yeah. Well, he didn't giggle. He cried because I said he's like my best friend. So trying to see. So Aquarius, Cancer. I have a couple Aries.
Mm.
But I mean they're family.
Christopher.
yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I mean I get along with him.
Oh wait,
I
are you
feel
saying
like,
that you don't get along with Aries?
no, I think I
Oh.
do. I feel like I
Probably
get
get
along with
everyone
almost
in the
everybody.
zodiac sign.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever come across a Gemini. Well, I have a cousin. But she's kind of like far away.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. I think I have almost a little bit, or I know a little bit of everybody in each
Like a
zodiac
mix.
sign, and I don't really think I clash with anybody. Not, I don't. Yeah, no, I haven't. I guess I haven't really like explored that part where like I clash with this person.
Yeah. Or really looked into it if
Yeah.
there is a clash.
Yeah, I mean, my ex was a Taurus, and although they say that like we don't mix well,
Yeah.
we somehow mixed well. But see,
Power of love.
but it's also the sign. But Taurus is also the sign that Scorpio is like, oh hey, like
Yeah.
this may work out. It just depends on the two people. So I don't think I have I guess most compatible would be like water signs. Yeah, same thing with the lunar, like water signs.
I'm just a hater and I hate on Leos. You're welcome.
But yeah. What about you, Oliver?
It's similar to yours. I think as a Sagittarius, we intend to get along with everyone.
Yeah.
But it's something about Aquarius is they're always around me. It's always a mix. Yeah. My sister's an Aquarius. My grandma's an Aquarius. One of my ex-partners was an Aquarius too. So it's almost like a very, and I think you said it very well, Elena, when I asked you this, in past conversations. It's almost like there's peace, but then conflict after a while, and then peace again. It's almost like a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I can't say that we clash, but I think we do have different points of views of things. We go at different speeds. We do things very differently, but somehow we intend to find a common ground. Yeah. So it's a very, I can't say that we clash, but then I can't say that we are very compatible, right? In the sense of my ex-partner being like, I thought we were very compatible. There was a lot of things that we were able to find a common ground, but I think equally there was a lot of differences in the way we approach things. So I think as Sagitario, we intend to be very, like you said, very leadership role, very let's get this done, and believe it or not, being in that relationship with an Aquarius really did slow me down, which I think was very unique because I am not someone that intends to slow down. So I can tell you that it is very much a possible thing to do. A lot more things, but I think on top of my head, that's one of the big ones that I remember. Um, Scorpios too. Scorpios have played a big role in my life. I mean, one of my best friends, Scorpio here, Cassandra, and it's also very odd because I also had a partner that was a Scorpio, complete opposites. That my experience with Scorpios, my grandpa was a Scorpio too,
He was.
and yeah, believe it or not, he was a Scorpio, and he was the three Scorpios that have played a big role in my life. Um, very different from each other. I don't see one similar thing from all three of them.
So when was your grandpa's birthday?
My grandpa's birthday was November 13th.
13.
Yeah.
13?
13, yeah.
He's
November
not
13th.
that far away from me.
Yeah.
It's 4 days.
So it's.
But then again, remember, he's a Scorpio man.
Yeah.
I feel like Scorpio men and Scorpio women
Yeah.
are totally different.
Yeah. So very opposites, the three Scorpios that, have played a significant role in my life. But in your own way. That's why I think Scorpios are very unique to each other. But I think if I can point something that was very common from the three Scorpios, yes, they are very hard headed. They're very stubborn. My grandpa was a very stubborn individual. The other two Scorpios in my life, very, very stubborn too. And but I think they all had something about the way they are about giving back to people. It's also very genuine, and that I did see, in similarities. But other than that, everything complete opposites of each other. So yeah, I don't think there was someone that I in the zodiac sign that I clash with. At least not yet.
What about
I'm just a
similarities?
hater.
What about like who you're
Which of the sign?
Yeah, what side you're I guess most compatible
I
with?
mean,
Or
I just I don't know. That's the thing. Like I keep saying Aquarius, but we're complete opposites of each other. But intense that I'm always somehow levitate towards an Aquarius in difference for many many situations. It's odd.
I was gonna ask, what time do you guys normally go to sleep?
I go to sleep like
Because-
at 12.
3 in the morning.
Because I'm
Stop.
like, because when I'm awake at like 12 already, I'm like, dude, I'm the only person on this planet awake. And then and that's why. And then right now, when you guys were like, oh, 8:30, and I was like, I feel bad being early. And I was like, how about if they need to go to sleep? And I was like, you guys wake up earlier than me probably to work. And then I was all like,
I do, but I
I don't know how you guys don't. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
how
a
you
morning.
guys
I
have.
love morning. I'm a morning person.
I am so not a
I
morning
love it.
person. You can even ask my mom. There was one
you're
time.
not. I remember when we would go hiking. She said, "We're gonna fucking go."
I know.
Yeah, I was pissed. Like, don't say hi to me in the morning.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not even like I need coffee. No, fuck that. I don't even.
sleep.
I just let me sleep.
Yeah.
Also, I think that the vision is connected to the zodiacs. Just want to throw that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because she has stars on her back.
Oh my gosh.
Y la luna también.
Yeah.
You haven't seen the crest, the half. What's it called? The crescent one?
The crescent.
Crescent one? Yeah.
On the bottom.
On the bottom.
Oh, cuando el niño le está
Así.
levantando.
Yeah. Everything's there's actual precedent that and legend that she is actually part of the Aztec, one of the Aztec goddesses.
Yes, she is. She's the goddesses of goddesses. And the whole idea that she was created was because the Aztecs, the indigenous people in general, had to find a way to keep their gods alive in their own ways. So they created her as an excuse, saying that, oh, that's from Catholicism, but it actually was from their own.
But it's like if you really put history in perspective, it's okay, that's belief, but if you put history, porque se le apareció a Juan Diego, descendant of the Aztecs, and now Juan empezó a hablar. So it's like, I'll just leave that there, just so you can connect the dots.
And if you see the original idea of her, she looks like a warrior. She looks powerful. Yeah, and it's the same thing.
Las mujeres le rezaban a ella in the Aztec Empire para what was it? For
everything, fertility,
babies?
Yeah,
babies.
Oh wow.
anything,
take care of
women
the
in
kids.
general. Yeah.
So por eso se le. Yeah.
Pareció.
I strongly believe that.
Oh wow.
That's why she's one of my favorites.
La Virgen? Yeah.
Her, La Ángel de la Guarda,
Oh.
and San Francisco.
San Francisco.
And then this other one, which I still haven't figured out his name, but he's like from Greek. Es Greco.
Oh, yeah?
Y los,
Is he a
sí,
saint?
yeah, and he's a saint. Tiene como una hat like weird. I don't know how to explain it, but I'll show you a
There's
picture when I
a
find
lot
it.
of saints
Yeah.
in our...
And la de Carmen.
Oh, the Virgen de
Anyways,
Carmen?
yes.
Yeah.
I love her brown dress. Anyways, when I
Yeah.
die, I want to be buried in that.
Ooh, make a note of it.
Thanks.
Oh, snap.
I like how he thinks
this
he's...
is
Another
it's
thing.
mind blown to me. I mean, I don't know why I didn't connect the dots of the stars and the crescent moon. I like that. I like that. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So going back to our podcast topic, the zodiac. I guess my question for you is what I guess is the difference between someone whose birthday is towards like the cusp and someone who's like in the middle of that zodiac sign.
Okay, so usually when you're on the cusp, the cutoff, you get some of whatever is by you. So let's say you are, like me, for example. I am a Cancer, but the month before me is Gemini. So in a way, I am still Cancer. I still have whatever crybaby, but I also get Gemini qualities. This isn't necessarily. I'm not a cusp though, but like if I were to be, I would get some of that.
Got it. Okay,
so it has to do a lot with that.
Makes sense. So I'm the 17th of November, and then I think just a few days after is Sagitario.
Mm-hmm. So you would get mainly Scorpio, obviously, because it's your
okay.
main one. But then you would get some qualities. Not necessarily you're gonna get like the best qualities. You can get like the most random things. Like
Okay.
it could also be, because I also believe that it helps shape your face.
Yeah.
So you can also get specific facial features.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah, like for example, Cancers. I know a lot about myself. Self-centered. Anyways, but like for Cancers, a big quality for them is the idea that their faces are smaller and their features are bigger.
Oh wow.
So you could also possibly get that. You could be Scorpio, but you have Sagittarius features, or you can have Sagittarius qualities, or you're good at things that specifically Sagittarius tends to be good at.
Okay, now what qualities? I guess facial qualities does the Sagittarius have?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
No, wait, hold up. I think I can remember some of them.
This is actually news to me.
Have you never noticed?
The same thing. I've
Never noticed
that?
that?
The first time
Yeah, it's a big thing. Depending on what you are, that's what you get. Oh no, I do know what Sagittarius. Clean. Do you know that whole? It was on TikTok for a while. It was like this whole phase of being a clean girl. Mm-hmm. So the whole idea is that
then I'm definitely not Sagittarius.
Clean cut.
No, that's not me.
No, but it's not like clean cut. Like
no, because I get up in the morning and I don't even do my hair. So
well, that's a big Sagittarius one. You're clean cut.
Es que tengo el pelo chino. So like.
But like, I'm sorry. Like clean cut. Like, can you like?
Yeah.
Sound that more like.
I feel like you.
You're a man. I forgot you're a man. Anyways, clean cut means that tend to be put together, but not without effort, but more like you do the bare minimum, and that's it. But you look good with it. So a thing, I'm gonna go to women. Sorry, you're a man, and I don't pay attention to yours. But for a woman, clean cut would be like she wakes up in the morning, her eyebrow, whatever she has to fix herself, wash her face, whatever.
Right.
Like tend to do what people tend to do, but it could be that her eyebrows are like naturally, like properly shaped,
right.
Or like she has maybe not a lot of eyelashes that are like curled, but she has some. Or it can also be like they have tanner skin that's even, or when they wear white, they show it off as a nice thing instead of being something like construction worker. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's more like you look clean without wanting to, but like trying to be clean. So it's like clean cut.
No, I don't think that's me. I really don't think so.
Well,
but there's so much more to it though. Like there's more to it.
If I do, I think something that us Sagitarius are really good at is good listeners, and you're a good listener.
Yeah,
I did say that before. So if that is a quality that because you're there,
you could get it.
I think that's what you're at.
So I guess my other question for cusp is like, how many days apart do you have to be considered part of the cusp?
I think it would probably be like a week.
A week. Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I
the
was
week
thinking.
before and the week after.
Okay. Okay.
I think that's a maybe around it, because you know there's not going to always be a clear transition into it. Like
Yeah.
even within the zodiacs themselves, there tend to be switches between the dates of what you count and don't count. For example, between Aquariuses and Capricorns, some people consider to be Capricorns already by the 20th, but other people tend to be considering it already in Capricorn or Aquarius. Like the cutoff dates are also not 100% always clear,
Okay.
so that can also affect it.
Makes
So
sense.
I would say
Makes
that
sense.
too. Yeah,
Very interesting.
that's why you try to get like the week, so you know, like, oh, I'm probably closer to it, but you never know.
Okay.
So just if you're like closer to the middle, then okay, you got a lot of whatever you got. But if you're more towards the end, pay attention also to the other ones as well.
Okay. I guess I have to start paying attention to like the Sagittarius things that I have.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I feel like when people ask me the ones that are interested in like the zodiacs, they're like, "Oh, like what are you?" Like, "I'm a Scorpio." They're like, "You're a Scorpio?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?"
I'm telling you, it's you. At least you as a Scorpio, it is very unique compared to other Scorpios that I've known. Because I think you're more. I don't want to say that you're closer to a Sagittario, but a lot of like even the energy that I get with you is like my energy, like a Sagittario energy.
Well, it's funny
The
because
listening and the energy.
it's funny because people tell me like you have like a good vibe to you, like you're like
And,
you know like a
and
good
I've told you
vibe.
that every time either you go to the house or there's kids around, they intend to just go to you. I mean, look at your dog. I mean, like dogs need to go to you.
My doggy.
When I first met you through the phone, and then the first day I actually met you in person, I felt like I was totally comfortable with you. I don't know why in my mind I thought, yeah, we're besties. I could go to her table, but it's just the energy you gave off.
And I mean, I'm just gonna throw this out there because you know, grandmas, they pick up on energies like that.
Yeah.
And I remember when my grandma met you, she's like, I like her energy.
Darla más.
That was the seal of approval.
Really?
You know? And other Scorpios that I've been in the home, the opposite. I don't like their energy. So I that's why when I said, you know, the whole like Scorpio thing through my end, it was, I think, I don't want to say you're a hybrid of like a Sagittario and a Scorpio,
am.
but it seems more and more as you pay attention to it that that's exactly what it is.
No, and also like I know that Scorpios tend to be considered like the seductive ones, the dark ones, whatever, like the mysterious. But I also think that when you're paying attention to those words, seductive doesn't necessarily mean bad. Dark doesn't necessarily mean bad either. Like people tend to be like, oh, evil, but dark can also be the empty sky. Dark can be a black cat that's just passing by. The darkness can also be the rain you get after having a long summer that you haven't had water. Like I think it also depends. So you do maybe represent Scorpio in the whole idea of dark whatever, but your aura says otherwise. Your aura is like darkness, but as a way of comfort, not as a don't come near me. Because I totally ran up to you. I was like, oh yeah, let me go with her.
Can dark also be like mystery?
Yeah, mystery.
Okay, so you see, I get that.
But mystery also doesn't necessarily mean bad though.
Exactly.
No, I get that, but like, I don't think I'm mysterious, but like, do you guys think I'm mysterious? I feel like now you like.
I was gonna, like Brian.
And then
I think early on, my answer would have been absolutely, because not so much because I didn't know much about you, but I just think that even though your aura is very like I'm comfortable with you, like if you're in a room, I would go to you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna share things with me.
Yeah.
You see, so from your end, I felt like that still comes with time.
Yeah.
After you meet the person and all of that. But that's why I say maybe the mysterious part early on when you are meeting, when they're meeting you for the first time, could be there. Not sure that it sticks all the time, right? I think once you get comfortable as well, that face completely just transitions.
You, Helen?
I'm gonna read you. Hold up, I'm gonna read you.
Okay.
Okay. So when I met you, I knew you were older than me, but I felt like you were older than me in a form of you were already living the adult life that I obviously was not into that level yet because I was still like a college kid, whatever, fucking sleeping at 3 in the morning or something, or like not sleeping at all, or doing my homework right before I go to class, whatever. I felt like I was still kiddish when I first met you.
Okay.
And then, I mean, in a way, I'm still kiddish now. I have a butt on my phone, but I know you more than I knew you from then. And I still feel like I get surprised with each thing that I learned of you. Like, for example, like I still know that you're an adult, obviously. I'm an adult too. We're all adults. But you have a serious job, you have goals, you have things you want to do, but you also have still things that are kiddish to you, and that's what surprises me sometimes. Like when you told me that you like Tinkerbell and like you like Disney, I was like,
I love Disney.
I didn't expect that. Yeah, like I was like, oh, I didn't. That's I guess where the mysterious comes from. Like I didn't know that. Like I thought you would be like an adult, like no more kid,
totally,
more
like,
no
all
more
the
Disney
vibe.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you were like, no, I love it. And then you'd come all the time in your Disney sweaters, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it's a surprise. It's a mystery, and I think it's cool. Like, yeah. So that's my. I do think you're mysterious, but not in a negative way. I think it's more like surprise.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm curious now, since you said that about Cassandra. I mean, I know because you've told me before.
Reads.
Thank you. But what was your take of me when you met me for the first time?
Reads.
As a Sagitario?
Okay, so when I first met you, it was an interview. Wait, so that interview, or once we went to the cafe?
Yeah.
Well, both of your
Or once I
experiences.
did an
'Cause
actual
I think
event.
it was two different circumstances, right?
Yeah.
I think both. Well, obviously both. When I both met you, it was adult, and I was kid. Because I met you when I went into the interview,
Right.
and I remember going into that and feeling like two adults again are interviewing me, a college kid.
Yeah.
And I think I was like a freshman or
Yeah.
sophomore or something, and I just remember being there and being like, shit, these people are legit. Like, what am I gonna tell them? Yeah, I do dumb shit for fun. I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to tell you guys? Like, I didn't feel like I had anything that. Oh, I hit the mic really hard. I don't think I had anything that I could say that would be up to your level.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in that interview, I remember being a woman and you.
Yeah.
I don't remember the woman. I think her name started with a D or something. I don't know. Yeah?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Her name was Dina.
I didn't expect myself to remember that. I remember just sitting there and being like, Helena, don't fool around. Don't be. In other words, I was thinking, don't be you as much.
Right.
But then, once you started making me these questions, you were asking obviously like the questions like, why do you want this job?
Right.
Like the whatever the common ones. But then I remember you asking me, what's something funny that happened to you? Yeah. And then I was all like, okay, I'm gonna show.
Like, that was
I was like,
terrible.
yeah, I was like, okay, I'll say something funny. And then I felt a little like ease.
Yeah.
And then I felt that more from you than her.
Right.
And so then that was all like, okay, maybe he's not that scary. And then I remember whatever the interview passed, and then you gave me your card.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And then I don't remember who reached out. I think you reached out.
And then I reached out to you.
Yeah.
That we had an upcoming event or meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you would like if I were to show, and I was like, oh, okay. And so I met you in the cafe, and when we were in the cafe, I was all like, damn, I'm gonna meet someone who literally just interviewed me. Okay. And then I met you, and then you started talking to me about all this stuff, and I could see that you were really passionate about it. And I was like, he is adult. He is like, doing those adult things.
Yeah.
It was more like you were showing me your goals and aspirations. Yeah. You're showing me what you wanted to do, what you had envisioned for your organization, what you were doing already for it, and all that stuff. And I could see the human in you. I wasn't as intimidated. I felt comfortable. I was like, okay, this is not someone that I need to see as. I'm not saying that you're not higher than me, but like I don't need to see you as like untouchable or unconnectable. You're literally, though we're different in age, we have the similar ideas. We have similar values, we
Yeah.
understand each other.
Yeah.
So I felt comfortable in that sense, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. You know, I don't know if I told you, but did you know that when we were at the cafe, my mom came in like 5 times.
I had no idea of this.
You were facing me over here, and I was facing the cafe area, and then
like on purpose, or she was checking up on you, or
no, yeah, she was with her friend. And
She's
then,
like, es que este muchacho no sé, como
no,
que
so
no
when she
sé.
dropped me off, she was with her friend, and she dropped me off, and I went in first, and I thought she left already, and you were already talking to me, whatever, and I just see from the corner of my eye, my mom walk in, not buy anything, walk out to the other door. And I was like,
funny.
was that my mom?
I'm dead.
And then I was like, I don't know if that was my mom.
Your mom's already like,
yeah. And she just went into the, because you know how, what is it?
is it tierra mía?
Yeah, tierra mía.
Oh,
door.
okay,
She just walked in through one door, exited through the other.
That's funny.
And I
Did
was
she do
like-
that all the times that she came?
No,
Oh,
it was just with
okay.
him. And then after a while, I knew my mom was just gonna drop me off and she was gonna go with her friends to the store. And so I guess she went to the store. She came back and noticed that I was still there. And then she came back in, walked out. And I was like,
how funny. This is the first time I hear this.
yeah, I thought I told you. And
Nope.
then when we were
Tell your
still
mom
there, when we were still there, there was a table behind you.
Yeah.
She sat there for a while and
No.
she just looked at me. And I was like,
how did you keep your
I
composure?
know. I was like, how did you not laugh?
I didn't want
I would
to.
have lost it.
But I just kept looking at her, and then she just kept like, I was like, oh my god, whatever. And then when we ended, she was sitting there.
You pretended like you didn't know her.
Yeah, I just was like, okay, pretend like I don't know this lady. And then
That is funny.
you left, and
That
when
is
you
funny.
left, I walked back inside, and I sat with my mom, and I was like, ¿Por qué te quedaste aquí? And she's like, pues te tenía que cuidar. And I was like,
You
yeah,
see, I
because they're gonna
told
steal
you
me
because
from
she
this
didn't
kid.
trust you.
No, because I didn't tell her who I was gonna see too. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna go to the tierra mía, can you drop me off? And she's just like, and my mom's friend Brisa, she's all like, sí, ya te dejo, lo que sea. And then she left me, and I guess my mom was just like, who the fuck is she seeing?
Now I'm gonna have to ask her mom, what does she think of me?
Ask her. She just kept walking. I literally remember because you were looking out through the window, and I was looking at where they were making the drinks and whatever, and I just kept seeing my mom going.
How funny. That's
Get up.
that is news
funny.
to me.
And I thought they were gonna tell her something because the people that were working could see her, and I was just like, oh my god, you look crazy, lady. But it was my mother.
She's like, es mi hija.
Wow.
Le estoy echando ojo.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what she was doing.
Yeah. And then when she left, she was like, me hace parecido. And I was like, yeah, because he fucking works in the city. Yeah.
She was a parecido.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry for the non Spanish speakers. Echando, no, it's fine. Echando el ojo is like keeping an eye out.
Yeah.
And then conocido is like, oh, he looks familiar. Yeah. I think that's all that I recall. But yes.
How funny. He was probably like, who's this Sagittarius you're meeting with?
She probably didn't even know you were said, no manches.
Hey, you never know. Maybe it's like the mom that has the power.
I know moms have powers.
Moms don't mess with moms. Like, that's, you think what the mercado. Moms
that's
are
where they got their
level.
powers.
Yeah, that's
They
another
watched it.
level. Yeah, and clearly, you know, the mom also grew up watching what the mercado. So imagínate. La señora ya sabía.
No, of course.
Any other questions that you have, Cassandra? Or
I want to
or
make a
anything else you wanna
comment.
share?
Oh,
Can I
yeah,
make a comment?
Yeah, please.
One comment I was gonna make. I'm trying to remember when you said, you know how like zodiac signs say sometimes that, oh, you're gonna meet your loved one, or you're gonna meet your
The
love of your life and stuff like that. I think that is true, but to a certain extent. I think that when it does say you're gonna meet the love of your life, doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a person. It could be the love of your life in something. So, for example, there's a song that I really like called "My First Love," and in the song they're singing, and it sounds like they're singing about someone like a person that they really love. But in reality, he was singing about a piano that he loved.
Oh, wow.
That was his first love. So I think that when zodiac signs do tell you you're gonna meet the love of your life this day, or you're gonna do this day, like whatever, or you're gonna have good luck, or you're gonna have fortune and stuff like that, I don't think they're necessarily saying like a person sometimes. I think that it can also
like
be
an object.
otherwise. Yeah. Like when I do see old stuff that's saying like you're gonna pass by the love of your life, and I'm just like, okay, I don't necessarily keep an eye out for someone. I keep an eye out for something that I like. or
See,
something that I
never-
will learn to
I
like.
never
See,
thought
that's-
about that.
That's a good way to put it.
So yeah,
Different
like
perspective, definitely.
Yeah.
like even when it says like the whole fortune, like you're gonna get rich or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it also doesn't necessarily money. You can be rich with happiness. You can be rich with your friends. You can be
Wow.
rich in other ways. So I think of that.
You see, it's funny you say that because even like in mine, right? Like recently, and I told you this before we started the episode. Mine was talking. It always happens that when it talks about a transition in my life in the zodiac, it intends to happen, right? A little bit before I met my past partner, so, and I remember it because I saved it what it said because I at the moment that you hear you see it, you not necessarily you don't believe it, but it's almost like you write it and that was it. Just another day that you
Yeah.
read your zodiac, right? Your horoscope. That day that I started talking to my ex at the time, my girlfriend, it said that the planets are going to align and I was going to meet someone that was going to change my life. And again, for the
Damn.
first time that I had read something like that to that extent, it felt very deep. And I don't know why I'm like, I'm going to take a picture of this.
Yeah.
And it just happened, right? That's when we started talking that night. I usually read my horoscope in the morning. And it's always when it talks about transition, not necessarily like, oh, you're going to meet, like you said, like the person or you're going to, fame, rich. No, it's transitions for me. It's when it's talking about you're going through a difficult time, but now you're going to move on to this part, this new journey. Those are always the keywords for me: transition, journey. You're going to begin something or meet new people, even right. For me, it's always that new people, and it always falls in line with what I'm doing, especially like the work that I'm doing. Like you're going to meet new people in your work, you're going to meet new partnerships. So that's how I interpret it. Like people that I meet refers to a lot of the work that I do.
So I actually do have a question. So this is probably different, but those tarot readings that are on TikTok.
Okay, so I have a thing with those as well.
Okay.
I do get tarot readings, and there are specific tarot readings that I tend to lean towards to watch. But I'll explain. So you know how TikTok algorithm, you see specific ones, they show it to you.
Yeah.
There are specific TikTokers that when I get them on my feed, I feel more calm enough to see it, or I feel like it's more connected to me. Like, for example, I'm gonna be really biased and probably not racist. I can't be racist towards those people. I do not watch TikTokers that do tarot cards that are white because I'm just like, you have no real connection to that. So how are you gonna? And I'm not saying that don't do it. I'm just like, I don't think we're gonna connect the same way because we don't come from similar things.
Okay.
But when I see like people of color doing those, I'm just like, okay, I think I can connect more with you. I'll understand you better.
Right.
But I do not follow any TikTokers that are tarot card readers.
Same.
Because I have the idea that if it comes up in my feed, it's meant to be.
Okay.
And if it doesn't come up in my feed, I'm not gonna go searching for it because it's not meant for me.
Makes sense. Okay, so there was a time on my TikTok that I did not come across any tarot readings. And before that I was. And then it stopped. Yeah. Like I think it was like maybe a week or two that it stopped. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Like I haven't got any readings. I'm like, but at the same time, like I think it's good because sometimes like I feel like I would just feed into like my own delusions. And I'm like, wait, no, like I have to like take a step back, be like, wait, this doesn't, like some of it resonates with me and some of it doesn't. And then recently again, they've just started popping back up on my feed.
Yeah.
That's and I like like I don't comment, I don't interact with it, anything. I just if I see it, if I want to listen to it, I'll listen to it. But I mean, I'll look at the comments to see what people said, but I don't comment myself because I'm just like, I think the same that Helena said, like, well, if it's meant for me, like it's gonna show up on my For You page and it's gonna be for me, and I don't have to interact with it or whatever. So yeah, that was my question.
And I think it's powerful, right? Because it goes back to the statement you made earlier, right? It's the power you give it.
Yeah.
Right. And if you, a lot of the times we go out there looking for things, right? And como dice el dicho, el que busca encuentra, right? Yeah. So I really do believe if we're out there looking, especially now in the social media age, where it picks up on our favorite things, things that we like, it's gonna pop out on our timeline, it's gonna pop on our feed. So I think that's why like you say, one does have to be careful with things like that because we can easily fall into that because it's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's why there needs to be also, I think, from our end, an understanding of what it is that we want from this, right? Because ultimately, either we control it or it controls us as well,
Yeah.
right? I think that's why, again, religiously, I'm not saying like I follow word by word, but it does have power to me. I think
Yeah.
it's one of those things, like you said, I do believe a lot in. I don't believe in coincidences. I do believe a lot of things to happen for a reason, right? Everything has, it's like a piece of a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
And it fits somewhere in your life. And when you're ready to either transition to that part now of your life, if that piece now is going to make sense, it fits here now, whether it's a
Yeah.
thing or it's a person, right? So I
Yeah.
think that's why it's important. It's important that we also know what it is that we're asking of it.
That's true. Very, very true. Well, do you have anything else you
Any
have
last
to add? Any last thoughts, comments?
any what the mercado advice
Yeah.
you want to give the audience?
Just be true to yourselves. Just remember that zodiacs are what you don't have to be what it says you are. You can change it. It's not set in stone. You are able to change it. If you don't like a quality that's often associated with what you are, then change it. Don't be like that. Change it for the positive. And don't be mean to other people. Um, yeah, just don't be afraid of it. Don't shame other people for that stuff. And just because you don't do it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be mean to the people that believe in it or do it.
Yeah.
Let them do whatever they want. If this is completely fake and it's not real, it brings comfort to me. Let it bring comfort to me. It's a safe space for me. Just let it be. Like, ¿qué te importa? Déjame. Like, why are you putting your spoon in my dish?
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to do, and I don't know if you want to do this as your ending.
I'm done.
But we can do the mercado ending.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
How's that? I just don't know exactly what he says. I want to pull it up.
And it's like mucho, mucho.
Well, that's like the iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sign off, he's like he's
Airbender
doing, yeah,
and shit.
Yeah.
He
was.
He's just like
It was the
Doctor
Avatar.
Strange, like all those,
He
But
was
like it was iconic, It's
Yeah.
like you even like
Even
hold
you
your
did
breath.
it yourself.
You're
You're just like
you're waiting for it to just
Yes.
like
that was power.
como la ira de
right
la
there. Yes, exactly. Yeah, as iconic as that. As
El
iconic as
del
that.
aire.
Yes. See, as iconic as that, like that's what you remember, right? Like
Yeah.
also Lupa's known for that, like that moment where they realize whatever it is that they're realizing. Walter Mercado, you were like, I was esperando, like you knew you knew what he was gonna say, but you were just like waiting for it. He did not miss it.
That's why I was so happy when I was hearing the Bad Bunny album, and I heard his voice. I was like, I cried. I think I cried. Like, it was touching. It was fulfilling. It made me realize like I was holding a breath I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Just like safe space, man.
And just while Elena does find that, on Netflix there's this great documentary about Walter Mercado. It's especially for our audience, those of you that don't know much about Walter Mercado or want to know more about Walter Mercado, it's a great
what is it called?
I
didn't even
can't
know.
remember what it's called, but it's about Walter Mercado, and it's a roller coaster of emotions.
It's called Mucho Mucho Amor.
Yeah, there you go.
La
See?
leyenda de Walter Mercado.
Oh, you guys have to see it. You guys have to see it. It explains. You think you know Walter Mercado because of it. What the segment was not even like 2 minutes, right?
No, it was probably
this
like a
documentary.
minute.
It's his life, how he got into it,
Wow,
how big of a star he. I mean, we knew him because he was always in our TV set, but this guy was everywhere, and his whole story. I think it's amazing. Definitely check it out. You guys have to check it out.
So if you want, we can go ahead and do that. We'll do our ending, and then we can do that with their ending.
Yeah.
Well, I can't figure it out because I have no idea which one it is.
Alrighty, so that concludes our third episode, and I'm so glad that Helena was our,
Yes, thank you,
our
Helena.
first guest. Thank you so much. I really like this topic, and I
Yes.
think it's gonna be a topic that everybody relates to.
Yeah.
So I really like this. Once again, and as always, make sure you like and subscribe
Yes,
our YouTube video and channel. Go ahead and follow all our social media platforms. I will be posting our Instagram user. I'll be posting our usernames for all social medias on the comments. So make sure you go ahead and look at those. Again, thank you for everybody who has watched our videos. It brings us a lot of joy.
It does.
We got compliments over the weekend that
we did. Yeah, we definitely did, and it really, it's a humbling experience. You know, we enjoy doing this, and the more we come up with these topics, I think the more excited we get about the topics that we have coming up. You know, like today we were excited about today's. I'm glad that Elena was able to make the time to talk about this because remember, this podcast is about talking about things that we normally don't talk about. You know, so I think this was one of those topics that we all in a way talk about it to you know, in our own way, but never this publicly, I think. So I hope that this brought, you know, a lot of knowledge. It shed a lot of light on things that you were not aware of. But I think more than anything that you feel comfortable. I think Elena said it very well. That it's a safe space for you. If this is a safe space for you, going into the Zodiac, you know, talking about your horoscope, then let it be. Always, like I always say, be yourself. That's your superpower.
Put my hair back.
Que Dios los bendiga a todos, hoy, mañana y siempre. Y que reciban de mí siempre paz, mucha paz, pero sobre todo mucho, 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 mucho amor.
There it is.
Bye, guys.
Bye.